Welcome to this episode of Toysbackzen. Today we're going to be taking a look at the 1988 Cops and Crooks Cops Cycle Blue Streak. Now this toy, if you're familiar with the Ram Cycle from the 1980s 3 3/4 G.I. Joe line, suffers from the same problem that the Ram Cycle does. The pegs on the sidecar break off. And those pegs are what hold this cycle together. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to fix that. Here you can see we have all of the materials and the tools that you're going to need to make this repair, along with some Vallejo paint. And also have this plastic weld. This is by Plastruct, and it's called Bondine. And we're going to try this out. It's good for apparently hard plastics, which is what this cycle is made out of. We'll see if it works. And now the repair techniques I show you, you can also use for your 1982 or 1983 Ram cycle from the G.I. Joe line. Even though the pegs are different, you can try using the same techniques that I'm going to use to fix this. Right here I have a good example, so we're not going to have to repair that today. Although I've had G.I. Joe Ram cycles in the past with broken pegs. I also have a G.I. Joe Classic 6-inch scale Ram cycle here with breaker on it. This has really big connections. Maybe someday we'll have to fix that. And here is a picture of an example of an unbroken sidecar pegs. This is what they look like. They clipped in, and those clips are what breaks off. We're not going to make them exactly the same. So to recreate those posts, I'm going to make them out of this Connect rod. This is the smaller Connect rods. They don't quite fit into the hole on the cycle, so we have to cut those down with some plastic cutters. Connects also made rods that were much bigger than this, just a larger rod for younger children, but they're a little bit too big for what we're doing here. So I'm just going to use these small ones. They'll look good. So just to make the peg that goes into the cycle a little bit more uniform, I'm going to use a file and file that more with a round consistency. We want these pegs to fit in with a little resistance, just like that, so it stays in place. And this cycle has 2 pegs, so we're going to have to make 2 of them. Those fit good in both of the connection points. So now let's cut this off. We'll mark it with a pencil. And we'll cut that off with an X-Acto knife. Let's check the fit of this. We want some of this plastic to be sticking out. We don't want it completely inside the connection point because it still needs to be glued to the sidecar. I'm going to be doing a little bit more fitting to this to make it a little bit shorter, and we'll see how it fits. And that's perfect. That's exactly what I want. That's going to fit really good. All right, so now we're going to make the second peg. Now the second peg broke off closer to the sidecar, so this one will have to be much longer. And that looks pretty good. Now I'm just going to file all the edges nice and clean on both the pegs that I made and on the sidecar. That way we get a good plastic weld connection. So this Plastruct bonding is new. The one on the right I only use for styrene, and this one here is supposed to be good for hard plastic. Once you apply this to the plastic starts to melt right away. You can actually feel it get soft. Push both pieces together for about 5 seconds and they will bond together, and then apply some more of the plastic weld. I'm going to let that sit for a while and dry, and we'll come back and do some painting. So I'm going to use this Vallejo paint. I have some blue and a little bit of black. I'm not really sure if I like this Vallejo paint that I bought. I've been using it quite a bit, but I can never seem to get the exact colors I'm looking for. It almost seems like they're a little bit too pastel, even though the Vallejo paint says it's blue. And I'm adding black to it, and it just doesn't seem to get the dark blue that I'm looking for. It's almost turning like a blue-gray color. So I try to mix this up the best I can, adding more black, and then I added a little bit of purple to it to see if I could turn it more into like a dark blue color, and it just never seemed to get the color that I'm looking for. I painted it anyways and let it dry just to see, and this is what it looks like. And I'm not too crazy with that color. So I've got some enamel paint that was a little bit too dark, and I decided to go with this really cheap paint pen that I have and a little bit of the Vallejo white. And I got this color. Much better, closer to the blue that I'm looking for. A little bit too dark, but I'm happy with that. I'm going to put a little bit of satin clear on this, and I think it'll look fantastic. Okay, the satin clear has dried, and here is the final result. I think this looks fantastic. I'm really happy with the results. It clips in there really not too tight, but it just clips in there like it belongs, and I think it's going to look great on display. Now, this cycle also had a seatbelt on the sidecar, but I'm not going to apply it to this vehicle because I'm not a fan of the seatbelts. And to me, without the seatbelts, this is complete. One of the gimmicks with this toy line is that you can put the paper caps in this and it will fire them off. And I'm not going to demonstrate that today, but I think that's a really cool gimmick. And I'm happy with this. So thanks for watching this episode of Toysbackzen. Please subscribe, like this video, and comment down below and let me know what you think of this toy line. See ya.